Cody here to talk about UFC 118. My predictions is going to be in Boston. I want to talk about Nate Diaz versus Marcus Davis. First off, I'm a huge Marcus Davis fan, although I have trouble seeing him winning this fight. I think Diaz's reach is going to be a problem. I also think if it even touches the ground, Diaz can get the sub. So I'm going with Diaz, but my heart is for Davis. I really wish Davis could pull it off. It'd be really cool in Boston for him to get the win. Heart. Davis. I think this fight's gonna be mini mo catch it. No, actually, I think Kenny's gonna win this fight. Actually, I still think Maynard is a little too green to win this fight, so I give the advantage to Kenny. I think he's gonna win it. I'd like to see him win it. Actually, I'd like to see him get one more title shot before he can't have anymore, because this would be a huge loss for Kenny. Gray, he's still up there. He still can be a fine title contention later down the road. Kenny, not so much. Kenny has to make it happen now. And I think a big key, which I guess you should draw it, is his sharp elbows. This is hand, blah. In the glove. But his sharp razor-like elbows just slice and dice, and that may come into play this fight. He may just saw off the other guy's forehead. Gray Maynard's in for a fight. So yeah, Kenny Florian for the win. So then on the fight card, this is actually your main event, but I think I'll save the real main event for last on my predictions here. But we got BJ Penn versus Frankie Edgar 2. Really, pretty much BJ Penn's only excuse is he just got lazy like he always does, and he lost. And now maybe he's fired up again to get the win again. So, okay. I mean, that just seems like a continual theme in BJ Penn's career, is he gets close to having, like, greatness. Like, if he won that fight against Edgar, he'd be like the undisputed lightweight fighter of maybe all time. But instead, he just gets inconsistent and loses these little matches that he should win. So, saying that, I do think BJ Penn will win. I think he'll employ a more active game plan than last time, at least I hope. And I like Frankie Edgar. He's not too bad. He's just kind of an underdog guy, and he always looks, like he's some kind of, just little small fry trying to keep up with somebody, and when he wins, it's kind of neat. But overall, I'd like to see BJ Penn win. I'd like to see him, further his legacy instead of keep on getting stuck in these stupid losses. It's hard to be a fan of BJ Penn sometimes. He lets fights that he should have won get away from him way too often. And then for your big fight that gets all the attention on this card, you have James Toney versus Randy Couture. And the funny part about this fight to me is James Toney is the underdog to the max. He has to be the underdog. This is a guy that's coming from boxing. He's going to fight in MMA. He's a huge underdog. But he does not have that underdog spirit to him at all. The guy is arrogant. He's downright stupid. He's ignorant. It's just listening to him to talk makes you want Randy Couture to win so bad that it's not even close. I want to see Randy Couture spank him like he spunk Tito Ortiz. I want to see him demolish him like what he did to Tim Sylvia. I want to see that kind of beating on James Toney. Because James Toney has just said the stupidest stuff. He's not even trying to give anyone any kind of respect in MMA. He's just trying to come here and say boxing's better or whatever, and go back to boxing after this. The funniest part was James Toney, not too long ago, he was saying he's the biggest name in boxing. And it's the funniest thing because I never heard of James Toney before this fight was signed. I did not know who James Toney was. I know who Roy Jones Jr. was. I knew who Mayweather was. I knew who Tyson, Holyfield, all these guys were. Lennox Lewis. These guys come to my mind when I hear best ever. Or, of course you have Ali, but that was before when I was growing up. They're just the names I had circling in my mind. Never heard of James Toney before this fight was announced. So he's not the biggest name in boxing. The guy, I don't know if he's punch drunk or just like really heavily ebonics. He's just, I don't know what he is. It's hard to understand what he's saying. But I think he talked like that when he was starting out in the biz too. So who knows? But the guy, he needs to get a beating. And I hope Randy Couture delivers it. Never have I ever wanted, I'm usually a guy that likes to pick like the crazy lopsided guy to win, someone that comes in who isn't expected to win. I want them to win, to tear up the MMA world and, turn it upside down on its head. This is not the case here though, because James Toney needs a beating so bad. Oh man, and I think Randy Couture is the guy to give it to him. I'm picking Randy Couture. I want Randy Couture to win though. I mean, there's a big difference. I not only do I, pick Randy Couture, I want him to win so bad here. And like I said, I think James Toney's gonna get spanked. I want it to go to 3 rounds, and be the first round and the second round just be complete domination, and the third round where Randy TKOs him on the ground with elbows. There you go. There's my prediction. Just demolishes him and then finishes him in the last second possible after James Toney knows that he could do no better. He had no chance of winning. Just not a quick. I don't want something quick. Too quick it'd just be too much mercy for him. He needs to suffer. Yeah. So those are my picks. UFC 118 should be good.